In this lesson, you'll learn how to write a fairy tale in 8 easy steps. We'll also end with a lesson challenge to test your knowledge. Step 1. Decide on your fairy tale's moral. A moral is an important lesson your reader learns when they finish reading a story. For example, the moral of Cinderella is showing kindness to everyone, no matter how they treat you. It is her kindness that wins the prince over and helps her to live happily ever after. To help you out, take a look at this list of morals. You could pick any of these for your fairy tale idea, or think of your own. Step 2. Write down a character description for your hero. The hero must be someone that your reader can relate to and understand. For this reason, it's a good idea to make the hero a normal, everyday person who can grow and develop throughout your story. One of the best examples of a hero is Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. He is a poor farmer's boy who seems to be out of luck and desperately needs some money to keep the farm running. Some common traits for your hero or heroine could be kind, humble, innocent, and kind-hearted. What other traits can you think of? Step 3. Write a character description for your villain. In fairy tales, the villain pushes your hero to the limit. They have been created to test your hero's abilities and cause them some pain. The villain in fairy tales is also normally the main source of conflict. For example, the big bad wolf stops the 3 little pigs from living happily ever after by blowing down their homes and trying to eat them. Ultimately, the villain will stop the hero from achieving their goals and cause them some heartache on the way. Step 4. Think about the magical element. No fairy tale is complete without magic. It is the magical element that guides your hero and helps them get their happy ending. Think about the fairy godmother's role in Cinderella. Without the fairy godmother, Cinderella could never go to the ball and met her Prince Charming. When creating your magical element, use the what-if technique. What if the teapot could talk? What if the cat had magical powers? Remember, the simplest of objects can be the most powerful in fairy tales. Step 5. Describe the setting. Different settings can create different moods in your fairy tale. For example, a nice little cottage in a forest is the perfect place to create a cozy, warm feeling, while a gloomy castle might set the scene of a dark, gothic fairy tale. It's not just about the physical location. The time period is also important. Common fairy tales were set in the 18th or 19th century. But what if your fairy tale was set in the future, in a technologically advanced world? Experiment with locations, time periods, and moods to create a unique fairy tale of your own. Step 6. Write the opening paragraph. The opening sentence in fairy tales commonly starts with, "Once upon a time." But fairy tales can also start with the following lines. The legend goes that, in a faraway land, there once was the king was not happy. Once there lived The important thing is to introduce your hero in detail, along with a description of the starting setting. When introducing the character, provide a small hint of the conflict they are about to face or the problem in their life currently. For example, in Cinderella, right at the beginning, we know that Cinderella's father passes away, and she has no choice but to live with her stepmother and stepsisters. We as the reader can already see a conflict being created here. Step 7. Write the middle part of your fairy tale. The middle of a fairy tale is where the biggest conflict happens. It is also the longest part of any fairy tale. The middle can be broken down into a number of sections for each conflict or major event in the story. In the fairy tale of Cinderella, Cinderella wants to go to the ball, but her stepmother rips the dress she planned on wearing and forces her to clean the house. Cinderella is distraught as she watches her stepmother and stepsisters leave for the ball. The next major event in the middle is when the fairy godmother comes to help Cinderella, but then Cinderella is faced with yet another conflict. She must come home by midnight, or the prince will find out that Cinderella is a servant girl. Cinderella goes to the ball and manages to rush home in time, but she loses her glass slipper at the ball. And this leaves the prince with a conflict of his own to find out who this girl was. So you see, the middle of a fairy tale is filled with conflicts, problems, and events that bring the fairy tale together. Step 8. Write a happy ending. Fairy tales always end with a happy ending. The core theme behind every fairy tale is to always have hope that things will get better. Think about how the conflicts will be resolved in your fairy tale, or how the villain will be defeated. For example, in Cinderella, the glass slipper fits her foot perfectly. This proves to the prince that she was the girl he fell in love with at the ball. Cinderella then marries the prince and lives happily ever after, while her stepmother and stepsisters were locked in a dungeon by the prince as their punishment for abusing Cinderella. Now you are ready to start writing your own fairy tale. It's time for this lesson's writing challenge. Using the following fairy tale opening line, can you write the first opening paragraph of your own unique fairy tale idea? For more tips on writing your own fairy tale, see the link in the video description below. That's all from us today. See you next time.